Is that bourbon and balance? Can you say it? Yep.
Send it.
Am I doing the intro?
Go for it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Balance. This is season 2, episode what?
8.
8. I don't know how you always remember those. This is rare. This is the first time.
This is the way we started and the way we intended it.
Yeah.
And it's been probably like 20 episodes since we actually sat down.
I think this is the first episode that, well, I mean, we're recording now and we have like video and stuff, but Chandler's finally
going to be
taking part, aren't you, bud?
Yeah,
he's very
if you watch
excited
the
about
video,
his-
you get to see this handsome
Very
big boy.
big boy. We are sipping a little bourbon. This is the last weekend that I get to indulge a little bit. Cheers. Before I go dry for training
What do
for
you got going
something.
on?
I got something big. I mean, we talked about it last week.
Doing a little hiking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go do a yoga retreat. No, before we go to the game. So I'm gonna have probably like 4 weeks of just like super dialed in, focused nutrition, and but this week we get to have some fun. So
Yeah.
actually we're gonna drink 2 bottles. Well,
We're going to say, tell me what we got here. We got 2.
We're not gonna drink
fancy
2 full bottles, but we have 2 bottles that we're gonna taste. Actually, Joe, the owner of Ete, got me both of these bottles for my 30th birthday.
Our 2-time guest, Joe Chabulski.
We're drinking right now. This is Coppercraft out of Holland, Michigan. This is their bourbon, just straight bourbon.
That is
But
real smooth.
it's a store pick from the Bridge Street Market, which is right down the street. So cheers to that. What's the other one actually that we're drinking is, it's kind of a backstory of Joe and I, but it was the first bourbon we drank together. It's called Bib and Tucker, and it is unbelievable.
We had it on one of the early episodes. I think you had a bottle of it and we got into it. I remember talking about it.
We actually got into it. Oh, that is really good.
Oh, that's it. We got into it at Joe's.
At Joe's, yeah. Because I actually have never had a bottle of my own until this one. So 2 brand new bottles. Damn, that is hot,
Yeah.
boy. That's a hot boy. Chandler? Anyways.
I'm a hot boy. That's what he says.
I'm a hot boy, Dad. Look at me.
Hot boy summer.
Oh my God, you're so big. Yeah, we're gonna kind of just like throw it back, chat some training stuff, give some updates on just kind of like life and whatnot. But what's going on with you? What's new? Anything new?
Before we dive into anything.
Yeah, so
Big, cool milestone reached.
I don't know
With
anything
this
about
past
this.
week's episode.
I know
we
nothing about
have
this.
elapsed 10,000 listens to the podcast.
Really?
10K listens.
Dude, that's weird.
Last week's episode with the just talking to the 8th day team about Granite and qualifying for the CrossFit Games has been huge. Lots of listens and
10,000
10
listens?
So thank you to everybody.
Dude, I'm like kind of shocked. Telly didn't tell me that he was going to say
yeah,
that.
man. 10,000 listens.
He also said it wasn't that big of a deal. That's kind of a big deal.
Well, I meant like it wasn't like, hey, I'm done listening
Pregnant
to podcasts.
again.
Yeah, kid's pregnant again.
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
10,000 views. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's kind of strange.
It's
That's
crazy.
1,000 listens. Does that
Got
make
you good,
sense?
suckers.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's wild. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit like
I'm
kind of shocked, but
insanely appreciative and humbled, and just feel really lucky that I get to talk about bullshit with one of my best friends.
it's so cool.
And other people happen to want to listen to it. So.
Yeah, 10,000 listens. What the heck? I definitely. I guess when we started, we like didn't have any type of goals related to how many people we listen.
than
Listen.
We wanted to hit 52 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Which we achieved that goal.
Yeah, but like, yeah, man, that's kind of wild. And we're hanging out tonight, so we're definitely going to talk about that a little bit more. But man, that's weird. It's really cool. Thank you to everybody that has continued to listen and supported us, and yeah, that's really neat. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
So, I mean, on my end, nothing is really new. We're rolling at the high school with 1 million kids a day.
Not literally, but
It feels like it. You know, it's at least 300 kids every day that I get to coach.
Really?
And then last night was another milestone for me. It was the
This is a
first
good one.
time I've slept without the baby and gotten a full night's sleep since she was born in March.
I can't empathize too much, but it's got to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Mr. Poss and Mrs. Poss that it feels like I can only imagine like walking through a desert for like weeks and then coming to an oasis.
Water.
I
Just
felt like I was
guzzling.
on actual drugs today because I slept 9 hours straight and I didn't wake up at all.
Yeah.
And then I just like I didn't probably even need coffee or
You're
pre-workout or
probably
anything
so
today. I was just
rejuvenated.
like, I'm not joking. It's wild. It feels like a fog has
Yeah.
been lifted.
I kind of
Everything
heard
about
you
it's
talking
great.
about it with Michael and Heather, but
So
because
and
they
I-
obviously can empathize with 2 children of their own. But
yeah.
that is wild.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's what with training today. I should have just gone for a snatch PR.
Because
I
you
did
felt
hit
so good.
a
Snatch balance.
snatch balance PR.
Yeah, we were talking about that. after you left.
335.
That was nuts.
It was real strong.
It looked
I
very
should've-
easy, too.
Should have recorded it, but I'm a dummy.
Yeah. It was probably pretty nice to just focus on training
Yeah.
and like no worries, no stress.
Honestly,
no, like,
today's
time
training was to get
constraints.
away from work a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was totally.
It was actually really cool that you pulled, like when you pulled up, we weren't expecting you to come. So it was a nice little surprise.
I didn't think you were going to be there. I was just planning. I was like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
I need to go do
Yeah.
something.
Clear your head.
So, yeah, it was good.
Good.
So, and then obviously everybody knows what you have going on, but do you have anything going on outside of CrossFit training, or is that just like.
No, I mean, other than just like trying to spend, so yeah, it's a weird shift because, you know, you work so hard and so long and for so many years and you dedicate so many sacrifices to doing something like this that, and this is a new realm. Like we've qualified for pretty big competitions before. You looked at the camera and I was like, is somebody watching us? But they're watching us. It's kind of weird.
They will
Anyways,
be.
like on a smaller scale, right? Like qualifying for Granite Games and for other sanctional events or regionals, you know, you like put an emphasis of focus on that goal because at the time, like you're qualifying for that goal, but you also still have the goal in mind of qualifying for the games.
Sure.
Now that we've gotten to this point of actually qualifying for like our dream, it's
What do we do?
yeah, it's kind of like, okay, so now that level of focus and sacrifice that we, you know, committed to for all of these other events is basically taken to an extreme.
Yeah.
So our training now is roughly like 5 hours a day, 4 to 5 hours a day, 2 sessions. Thankfully, we all have relatively flexible jobs. Heather is a little bit different because she, like I said in the previous podcast, she like has a real hospital job.
Yeah.
And, is very important in her role. Not that we all aren't important, but yeah, her schedule is a little bit more difficult.
It's just different.
Yeah. But like Michael, Zoe, and I all have flexibility in our schedules to be able to like, you know, split the day in two. So we
Yeah.
do like a morning session and evening session. And then basically in between all of that is just like fueling as much as we can. And then Michael and I coaching, just to kind of like, you know, obviously help run the gym. Outside of that, it's like kind of where I was leading with this is making sure that I can like see my friends and family as much as I can now, because I know leading up, like the 4 weeks leading up and really even at the games, it's going to be pretty much like, you know, laser focused, blinders on. So
How selfish.
yeah, I mean, right. Like it really is. It's
It
a
kind of
level,
is,
it's a
but-
level of selfishness that I think we all deserve to have
Yeah.
because of how much work we've put
And this
in.
is what we talked about with Bert, that, you know, at the stage of life that we are in, it goes in seasons where it's not, balance doesn't look like a daily balance or a weekly balance right
Sure.
now. Well, for you, it's okay right now,
Yeah.
but it will be like all you're doing is eating and training
Sleeping.
and sleeping
Yeah.
at one point, and it won't be balanced. But
Yeah.
then you will come out of it and probably go down to 1 day of training,
Yeah.
or one training session a day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you might even do class WODs for a while.
For sure.
That kind of stuff. And so if you look at the entire picture of the season,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you'll have balance, but it's definitely being a professional athlete is not a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, and he talks about it a lot in that episode. If you haven't listened to the Bert Soren episode, it's one of my favorites that I've ever been a part of. Just in terms of like conversations I've ever had with somebody. I'm actually getting like I have.
He's an
just talking
absolutely
about it.
legendary human being.
But he's just got a really cool mindset. But he talks about how the greatest athletes or the greatest businessmen or whatever, like the greatest leaders. At their peak, there is no balance because you can't have balance if you want to achieve that type of greatness. Sure. Obviously, like ours is on a scale, like everything's on a spectrum. But we've qualified for the peak of our sport as team CrossFit athletes. So, we're gonna put,
hell yeah, you did. That's what I meant to say, not just sure.
So we're gonna put all the chips in and see what we can do. See what type of splash we can make at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I've been saying all along, I'm really excited because the things that are at the games are stuff that I feel like you guys are good at.
Yeah,
like
that's what we're excited
qualifier,
about.
like the early on of CrossFit, it's been hard for you guys to break through because arena CrossFit is not your forte. Online qualifier, like you're good at that stuff, but it's not like
it's not
the
what
Granite
we were like.
Games was like you made huge strides on worm stuff.
Yeah,
and the
sled
push,
sprinting,
and like those kinds of things. And even like running is not usually a huge amount of it in arena style CrossFit. And I feel like you guys are pretty good runners. I feel like you guys are going to be good in the water.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that, actually.
Those kinds of
There's
things.
so many things I'm excited about, and it's so hard to like contain this excitement because it's like, it's so hard to talk about too, because I feel like I just constantly say like, this is the dream that we've been looking forward to and like working for so long, and like it has, and I don't know how else to say it without like just repeating myself, but like this is it. This is what we've been gunning for freaking 8 years. So we're doing it. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all. Like my life right now is literally just like training, hanging with my wife as much as I can, and I am in a golf league, so like every Thursday night I get to golf with some buddies, and that's kind of like my one time throughout the week where I get to like remove myself from
almost like
the world of
your
CrossFit.
Normal life.
Yeah,
That's like
it's actually pretty great.
Yeah,
that's like a good break in the week and it's on an off day where I'm not training as much, and it's pretty nice. But what are we talking about today? We got kind of a rough schedule for the episode.
Yeah, I thought we should just talk about cool shit that other people aren't doing in their training.
Yeah. And I mean, in like, is it layman's terms when people say that?
Layman's? Yeah, that works.
I don't know. Somebody can correct us on that. It's funny, actually. Side note, I always get corrected. Like a friend of mine, he's a member at the gym, a younger guy named Kyle Zudema. He's going to be really pumped that I called him out. But
Kyle Z.
He was messaging me on Instagram all of the things that I hadn't remembered in the previous episode or in previous episodes where like I try and think of an analogy and I can't think of it in the middle of an episode. And then we just move on. He went through, he said he listened at work the other day. He listened to 8 episodes.
What a guy.
And he was texting me throughout the day of all of the things that I either said wrong or couldn't think of in the middle of the episode. So layman's terms, if you don't mind, somebody look that up and tell us what that actually is.
There we go.
What's the
Did you send Kyle a message back and say, hey, I appreciate you listening to 8 episodes. Smart ass.
You piece of shit.
Making me feel horrible.
Good dude. Great dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's basically like, what are the things that that we do in our training that aren't super sexy and aren't like the super cool things to do.
Yeah.
But also like
underrated training stuff.
Yes. And have, like kind of big bang for your buck or big return on investment, ROI.
Cool.
What's your first one? I have 2 that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I've been thinking about both exercises and just training methods in general. And one thing that I've added in over the past few months, especially since I've been training at the high school more, is isometric and slow eccentric training. It's definitely the thing that I think people who are not strength coaches almost never do in their training.
Yeah.
Is doing like a squat where they're lowering down for 6.
So tempo stuff.
4, tempo is what some people know it as, but like technically whenever you're lowering a load is the eccentric portion of the lift.
Sure.
So there you go. In layman's terms,
Hey.
the lowering of the lift is the
Eccentric.
it's actually technically the lengthening of the muscle is what the eccentric portion is, and then the isometric portion is any sort of pause. So there's two kinds of isometrics, which is overcoming and yielding isometrics. And so
God, you're so smart.
I
Where is this coming from? I
What
don't
do you
even
mean?
know you,
What are you
man.
talking about?
I don't even know you.
It's what I do for
I can't
a
believe
living.
how smart you are. I actually saw you have.
I can't do math, and I get words wrong all the time.
I
like
get all
echo,
the words
eco, but
oh yeah. I
is
listened
it
to
like
that.
the
I thought
book
that was
smart,
good.
street smart kind of thing.
Echo. I actually saw you. You posted a story or many stories on the Granville Strength and Conditioning page of the kids doing 3 pause like dumbbell bench.
Yeah, so that was
was
one
pretty
thing
neat.
that I was going to talk about is like doing pauses through the motion.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if you're doing a squat, going halfway down, pausing for 1 or 2 seconds,
Yep.
going to the bottom of the squat, pausing for 1 or 2 seconds, and then pausing
The way up.
halfway up.
Yeah.
That is one that a
Terrible.
lot of people do not do is the halfway up.
Because it sucks.
It's terrible. It's not fun. And
It's
you
gotta
have
be
to do it
like-
with way less load, so
Yeah.
it's not sexy.
But it's also like, for a beginner lifter or somebody that just is trying to build strength in general, like it forces you to slow down the movement.
Yes.
You can't rush that, obviously. And it forces you to be in a good position as well.
Yeah, and you're building strength through possibly a sticking point.
Yeah.
In your
Oh,
lift
man.
as well.
That pause on the way up out of the hole of the squat is terrible.
Yeah.
You used to have us do that stuff months and months ago when we were doing your strength
Yeah.
program. Man, that was so bad.
It's not fun.
You feel like your head's going to explode
yeah.
because you're like, finally, I get to stand up. Oh, psych. Gotcha.
Oh, stop.
No. I feel like I'm dying.
I'll get a text that says, "Coach, are you sure you wrote this right?" Another one is that those are yielding isometrics
Sure.
where you're stopping through the movement.
Okay.
And overcoming isometric is when you pull or push against something that you can't move.
Oh.
So
We talked about these a really long
time ago. It was actually for the COVID episode
Yeah.
because it actually works great.
And I remember
when you
Laura
don't have
Besser doing it underneath her deck.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is coming back. So explain what that is.
So an
then.
overcoming isometric, like I said, is when you can't move an object. So what I've been using it for lately is during my warm up. So I'll do like a general warm up to get grease the hinges, loosey goosey, baby.
I always
And
say,
then-
grease the grooves. That's mine.
there
Grease
you go.
the grooves.
I'm talking School of Rock with Jack Black.
Oh,
it. He's like,
nice.
hey man,
Classic.
you look a little robotronic. Let's grease the hinges, baby.
Is that to the drummer?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
or
remember
I think it might be the keyboard, the Asian keyboard kit.
I am not cool enough.
Exactly that's what it is.
I am not cool.
So what I've been doing is like if I'm doing cleans, I'll set the like J hooks on the rack as low as possible.
Okay.
And then I'll pull from underneath up against them. If you're going to watch this, I'm going to insert a video. Maybe we should do like a Technique Tuesday video of how to do
Sure.
overcoming isometric.
Sure.
It's
Let's
great.
film it this week.
It's great on the rig. It works really good.
Okay.
So what it does though is you're pulling against this rack that you can't move, and you're literally recruiting every single muscle possible to push against it. And what it does is it's called potentiation. It tells your brain, like, this thing is really heavy. I need to fire harder to be able to pick it up.
Sure.
And so it's really great, especially on like a heavy day. You can do it with squats. You can just push against the J hooks. You
Yeah.
can do it on a bench day, on a shoulder press day. You could even do it for pulling, where
Yeah.
you're pulling against the rack.
So this is, what's it called? Potentiation?
Potentiation. So
kinda
like I
neat.
said, in layman's terms, it's telling your brain.
Dude, stop. Don't come back to that every time.
No, okay.
I love it.
I won't.
In Tully terms.
Ah, there we
Hey.
go. That would be idiot term there. Yeah, it just is helpful. It's been really good for heavy days, like waking up the nervous system and kind of like shaking
Oh, which
off
is why
the
you
rust.
said you do it in your warm-ups.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So
Neat.
that was it. Isometrics and eccentrics, but mostly talking about isometrics because
Yeah.
a lot of people do not do pause.
Sure. Yeah, or like, and I notice every once in a while we'll have pausing in like the 8th day programming for whatever squats, mostly just squats. But sometimes we'll have it for like bench and stuff too. The problem that we have a lot of the time is people tend to rush those tempos or those pauses. and you're just not. I mean, you know, like at that point, you're just not getting the fullest potential out of those squats, or I mean, out of those pauses, or out of those tempo movements. Yeah. So, you know, your coach is writing, if you have tempo or pausing in your program, make sure, and I remember you actually calling your students out to count to that like 1,000, like 1,000, 2, 1, right? And then stand, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then can't.
Exactly.
Stand.
If I'm being a really evil coach, what I do is I program like a 6 count, because I know it's going to be an actual
3.
4 count or a 3 count.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
So I went more of the route of like actual activities and or specific movements.
Okay.
This might shock some people that have been listening to the podcast a little while, or for a little while, but I cannot stand running. I hate it. But
thick boy can't stand running.
Thick boy don't like no running, boys and girls. But
have you ever seen there's like the show where they like the people go on a diet, and there's the little boy that's like, I want my bacon.
Wait, no, he talks about chicken nuggets too, right?
Yeah.
The chicken nuggets are good for me.
This lady thinks she's smart. That's how I feel like you feel about running.
Oh, dude, I hate it. But you know, like being a CrossFitter, I have to be able to run. So when we qualified for the games, humble brag, you know, we qualified for the games. Kind of a cool day. I'm just kidding. So we followed CompTrain a little bit before, like leading up to Granite. They wrote this team programming for us. It was actually for the general public, but when we qualified, we were the only qualified team that had been following their programming.
Mm-hmm.
So going into Granite, we started a relationship with their 2 programmers, mainly just the one. His name's Jarrett. And,
shout out CompTrain.
Yeah. So, you know, when we qualified for the games, they were basically like, hey, like, obviously, congratulations. Thanks for following our stuff, but we want to help you prepare as much as you can leading up to the games. So they dedicated Jarrett to us to write, you know, fully custom programming for us based on like weaknesses, things that we'll probably see at the games. And then just like a lot of like team stuff that is creative that takes this load off of, you know, Michael and I, because we don't have to write any of the programming now, which is really nice. Part of that though is, you know, at the games, notoriously for the past 8 to 10 years, all of the teams have had to do some type of long run and some type of sprint.
You mean horrible run?
Yeah, terrible. So like in 2019, they did a 6K ruck.
Yeah. Oof.
And, you know, there's always a sprint event, like in 2019 as well. They did like kind of a zigzag style sprint. It was like a 100-meter sprint in a straight line and then 50 back with like a 50 zigzag to finish. And it was like a relay style, which is cool. Like that's stuff that we can be really good at.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Well, the sprint one is fun. The 6K ruck sounds terrible. But so that was part of like our programming is we're running 3 times a week right now. So Mondays we run a long run. Wednesdays we're running repeats of usually like 800s. And then Fridays or Saturdays we're doing more sprint style, like relay stuff. And so though I hate running, it has been one of those things that I have learned to enjoy only because it's benefiting me not only in my running, but also in other aspects of fitness in general.
And it's definitely something that in the world of people that we interact with, that I feel like when you get into CrossFit, Olympic lifting,
oh my God.
That Bib and Tucker.
Yeah. I just had my first sip. It's like, if you haven't had it before, just spend the freaking $65 on this bottle. It is unbelievable. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Continue. I just like started having like a mouthgasm.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? I'm going to make that a thing. I don't know if I want to make it a thing, but I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite
t-shirt
bourbons.
word?
No.
Is it
mouthgasm? You want to wear a t-shirt that has mouthgasm on the front of it? Probably not.
It's like a shirt you'd get at Spencer's.
Yeah. Or like in the back aisle of Target where they have all those like weird
graphic tees. Yeah.
Fart loading. Have you seen those? It's like, gosh.
Yeah, that's
anyways.
Funny. So what I was saying though is like when you get a lot of people early on in their like fitness life, like run and do like whatever bro workout.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
seeing on the internet or seeing
chest and try,
that
back and
kind of
by.
stuff. So a lot
Run
of
a
people
mile
do
slow.
so much
Yeah.
running that when they get into like CrossFit, Olympic lifting, powerlifting, like something that is more niche strength and conditioning,
Yeah.
they don't run.
Yeah. And
but it's, I mean, not many things can build your engine better.
right. Yeah. And especially like all of the different varying aspects of running. Like on Monday for our long run, which is usually 3-ish miles, maybe a little bit longer. Me and the girls being Zoe and Addison, not Heather.
The girls.
Me and my girls. Jesus. We ran a 3-mile trail run.
That sounds great.
And it was like
What was the
pretty
pace?
enjoyable. Our pace was probably just probably like right around an 8-minute mile.
Okay, so not terribly strenuous.
No, but at the same time, it was very difficult because the elevation changes were crazy.
Sure.
Not to mention, it was also, it's been raining here in Michigan like crazy, so it was pretty muddy and slippery. So, yeah, it wasn't easy by any means. That's Chandler just running up and down the stairs. He's a freaking horse.
We'll
man.
see if I can cut it out.
No, it'll be fine. And so the other thing that I want to just touch on is, we talk about like the skill and the technicality behind, barbell movement specifically a lot of the time.
Yeah, or gymnastics.
Yeah. Running is one of the most technical things that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people who do run have a lot of low-hanging fruit to be able to correct in terms of form.
Yeah.
And we actually saw that last Friday. Joe came to the turf field with us when we did our 200-meter repeats. And we did some like running technical work with him. And I mean, like within a half hour, I felt so much more efficient. And a lot of people just think, like running is running and everybody can do it, but not everybody can do it well. And so I think that's also one of those things, just to like stay in tune with what we're talking about in this episode. Like it's obviously something that is a bang for the buck, but I also think that the opportunity for improvement in terms of like technical form is huge for probably 80 to 90% of people. And then that will also make running, way more enjoyable, but way more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was pretty eye-opening to like think I was running relatively well, even though I know I like don't run that great for a bigger athlete. But then to have like some of those things change within, 15, 20
Within
minutes.
a training session.
And then feel the difference and feel the efficiency changes. It was pretty impressive. And obviously Joe is like, a seasoned coach in terms of running and mechanics. And so he did a really great job at kind of taking Michael and I as completely different athletes and helping us, separately. But
is Michael a better runner than you?
oh yeah, absolutely. He's so freaking fast, man. I hope he doesn't listen to this because I don't want his head to get any bigger than it already is. But Michael, big ego guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He's very humble.
Big talker, big
no,
ego guy.
I mean, if you go back to last week's episode, because you spliced it into the actual YouTube video of him on his push race, which was the sprint event. His speed looks like it was put in fast forward,
and it was actually slowed down.
Really?
I slowed it down by about 10%.
I mean, it was like, I remember watching it for the first time that night after we had competed for the first day.
It's almost comical to watch
insane.
because he takes off at the same time as that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he's actually going to murder her. That's what I was joking about it in the episode. But it looks like he's
Scream
gonna,
running, like Scream the horror movie.
Yes.
He's like running.
Or what was that movie, Get Out, with the guy that sprints at the camera? That's what he looks like.
I got goosebumps. I just talked about that movie yesterday with some members. Dude, you want to talk about a tangent of a movie that we could get into? Yeah. That movie
Maybe
is
we should do a movie
insane.
episode.
Get Out is probably top 3 favorite horror movies that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
and it's not really like
it's more.
it's a horror movie.
It's more
of a thriller. Yeah, it's not like gory or anything. No. But damn, is that a good movie?
It'll spook you good.
It'll spook you real good. But I mean, like when you see that for the first time, that dude running where he takes that hard, like it's either hard left or hard right.
Yeah,
dude, you're kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Oh, and have you seen the movie Us? Mm-mm. That's by the same director.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah. And It's about a family that like basically finds their clones or their clones basically find them.
Huh.
It's like an African American family. There's a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister, and they like go away to this cabin, and this cabin's like on the water, and they're all having fun. There's a song, I got 5 on it.
Oh,
you
sure,
know that song?
yeah.
That's like the theme song in the movie.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I'm getting goosebumps like crazy through this
You're a
episode.
goosebump guy.
Because that song is like rooted within the entire movie, and that song is kind of a badass song. Like
It's good. Yeah.
you can bump that song and like train to it and bob your head to it, but the song is, they change it throughout the movie, and it kind of gets like creepy. So they go to this cabin. I'm not going to give it all away, but out of nowhere, they're like winding down for the night. It's probably like their first night at this cabin, and like the dad notices outside in the driveway that there's like people standing in the driveway, and he goes over and opens the front door, and it's literally his family standing in the driveway, but he's there. So it's him, his wife, and the 2 kids.
What?
But they have like, the 2 kids have like these like weird masks on, or like maybe the son has the mask on, and like his family is in the house with him, like he's with them, but he's staring at his family, and he's like, can we help you? And he like doesn't recognize them at first. And you can watch the trailer. The trailer's really good too. Maybe we can splice
Us.
We should splice that in
I'll
as
put
well.
The trailer for
He's like,
Us.
can we help you? And then he starts like, they don't answer him and they don't move at all, and they're just standing there. It's creepy, man. And then he says this line. He's like, if y'all trying to get crazy, we can get crazy, or something like that. And he's got this bat in his hand, and then all of a sudden the kid's head goes like that, and then they split and they all run, and they don't know where they went. And then the movie takes off from there. It's so good, dude.
All right.
It's the same director as
same kind of thing, like horror movie, but more like thriller.
Yeah, as what am I trying to think of? What's the movie we were just talking about?
Get Out.
Yeah.
We'll check
so
it out.
it's very much
That's the kind
so
of
like
movies that Kit and I really,
dude,
really
it's
like.
so good. If you haven't seen either one of those, you got to see them.
Why can't I think of the name of the movie? What's in the box? What is that movie called? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's the movie with Brad Pitt. I can't think of it.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
No.
what a
It's
good movie,
thriller. It's like seven Deadly Sins
I haven't seen
or
it.
something like that, or 7. I don't remember.
It's good.
It's insane. It's like one of the most famous like thriller movies of all time.
I haven't
can't
seen
think
it.
what it's called. We're really bad at remembering stuff, so
Yeah.
if you listen to the
We just-
podcast, let us know what we effed up.
Hey,
Okay.
Kyle, I'll tap you in. Figure
So,
out what that movie was.
Big running guy, but not big running guy, Ryan Schaefer.
Yeah, I am learning to like embrace the suck of running.
Did you
because
get the
it's helping.
shoes that
Oh, dude.
Adam Klink recommended? Did you get some of those carbon fiber?
Ooh, I did, but not the running shoes.
Oh,
I have. I train now in Innovates, which he's sponsored by.
yeah.
And he hooked
Remember
me up
when
with the
we
discount
first saw
code. So-
Innovates and we were like, why are you wearing Innovates
Yeah,
like
yeah.
8 years ago? Are you poor?
Yeah. And Little always had Innovates.
Yeah.
Like she just always got them. And now she wears Reebok and I wear Innovates. But I train in the same
I've been
shoes that he
training
trains in.
in Under Armour.
So Under Armour
functional
has,
boys.
like,
that's what these are.
Are those
These are the Tri-Base.
Oh, are they? The new
Yeah.
ones?
Uh-huh.
There's
They're
a
really
member at the
nice.
gym that's got he's got a version of the older ones.
they feel just like
I
the
heard they're
Nanos.
awesome.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I like it.
But the runners that I just bought are Nike React. I don't know, there's something. They're really nice. Jay and I got the same shoe.
Cool. Don't turn off the podcast. This is just a quick commercial break. Hey, listeners. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you're enjoying this content, please help us grow the show by liking and sharing our social media content, as well as leaving us a 5-star review and subscribing on whatever podcast service you're listening on. Also, if you did not see, we have started a YouTube channel. If you want to see this as video content, you can head over there, as well as you can check out our weekly training vlogs we'll be posting. Once again, this episode is sponsored by Coal Whip Speed Ropes. If you want the fastest and most efficient rope on the market, use promo code BOURBON and pick one up today.
What's your second kind of like movement or theory or
So again,
whatever.
another thing that
We got 2 more.
in the world we're in, like people start turning their nose up at or like aren't really into is machine training. Like It is one of those things that you start out at like a
machines, man.
Y or Planet Fitness.
Love them.
And you like do some quarter squats and then
Hell
you
yeah.
go hit a bunch of machines and then you hit the
Get a
cardio machine and you
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah.
I really like machine training a lot for isolation,
Yeah.
hypertrophy work.
Well, like
You
injury
know.
recovery or like
Injury-
injury.
Yeah, rehab. It's
Rehab,
great. Yep.
yeah.
Because you know
It's
you're
great.
locked into a range of motion.
Yep.
It's great for that purpose. But really, like I mean, for a lot of us, maintaining muscle mass,
Yeah.
especially we're getting old, man.
No, I'm
You're-
not. I'm not gonna listen to that shit.
No,
I'm not getting old. No, don't even put that on me.
I know.
Don't do it.
You know, it
I
is
look at
wild.
Joe. Joe's like 43
Yeah.
or 44. He's
Chad
freaking,
Dunlap.
Yeah,
good friend Chad.
Like they're all shredded. They're all
Yeah.
doing everything that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like, I don't know, 70,
Yes,
I'm old.
I'm just saying, using machines to maintain muscle mass
Yeah,
is a lot
huge.
easier on your body
Yep.
than doing a ton of squats
Yep.
and all those kinds of things.
Actually, I'm listening right now. I'm re-listening to an old Joe Rogan episode from Laird Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he is? Big
Yeah,
wave
we
surfer.
talked about him on the podcast.
Did
He's
we?
kind of a hippie kind of
Dude,
guy.
he's incredible though. He's awesome. And he's like, you know, in his late 50s. This dude surfs like 40-foot waves still. He does all this wild training like underwater with dumbbells in a pool.
Yep.
Like he's so fit. So, yeah. When I'm 70, I'll slow down, but I'm hopefully going to just keep chugging along for another 30 years.
Yeah, I'm not actually worried about it. But
All right, cool.
what I was saying is eventually we will get to the place where we don't want to do a million sets of
Mhm.
squats.
Mhm.
And doing machine training is great for, I feel like my joints feel a lot better doing hypertrophy. I was
And it's
actually
just
talking
like
to
it's
Steve
really-
Hamming
it's enjoyable.
and Dom about that today, that the Broly program is great because if I do just snatch, clean, jerk, squat, pull, like what traditional Olympic lifting training looks like,
Yep.
I just feel trashed all
Do
the
you?
time. My
Yeah.
shoulders and
It's a lot of
elbows
central
and
nervous
hips
system.
and low back.
Yeah.
But like my joints don't feel good
Yeah.
when I'm doing just that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So right now the Broly program is one or two
What
Olympic
is the Broly
move-
program?
It's this thing that we've started.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah,
Tell me
the
more.
Broly program.
Oh,
Do you
Broly.
want to get jacked and fast?
We just
and
cut into
strong?
this commercial.
Yeah, she'd be
You
like,
want to be the strongest you've ever been, brother?
playing with the boys. Let's get strong
Top
together.
Gun.
Yeah.
Steroids.
Speaking of
meat,
which-
red meat.
Man, we got so much good stuff going on
Whiskey.
with the podcast.
I know, dude,
We're
we
just
do.
killing it. We got the B&B training playlist with
Yeah.
the 80s tunes this week. A lot of Kenny Loggins.
Dude.
The Logs, baby.
Dude, he is the best.
If you don't like Kenny Loggins, stop listening to the podcast. No,
Right
I'm just
now,
kidding,
I want you to
but-
pause the podcast and go listen to "Playing with the Boys." It's from Top
Yep.
Gun. It's off the Top Gun soundtrack.
Take your shirt off, tape your wrists, and go have a good
Put
time.
some glasses on and freaking floor whatever you're driving right now.
So, if you
Where
wanna
were
get,
we?
if you want to get ripped, like the guys in Top Gun,
Yeah.
you need to do more machine training.
I like machine training. Do you remember the trip that we took up north probably 5 or 6 years ago?
Yes.
And we were like, dude, let's find a traditional gym and just like machine train for an hour.
Yes. That's like my dream is one day to have enough money to open up my own gym.
Where
that I
you have-
don't do anything other than front the money for and train at.
Yeah.
But
Sounds great.
the facility would have like a rig
Mm-hmm.
and like a Olympic weightlifting area
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like some jujitsu mats
Ooh.
and like an MMA area.
Have you seen like
and a
crunch?
shitload of machines,
Dude.
like every machine
that day, I
that
felt like
Rogers
I
and
was
Elite
like-
FTS make.
Dude, I was like freaking pumped up.
Yeah.
Because we did literally every machine in that like 24-hour
so
fitness
good.
or something like that in Traverse City. It was
You know,
fantastic.
the only machine I don't really like is the leg press because I feel like douchebags really like hang their hat on. I can leg press 600 pounds.
yeah, and it's not really like relative to anything.
No.
You're like you can't compare it
Yeah,
to like
and
squatting.
then you see all those horrible injuries on the leg press
God,
too.
I don't even want to talk about it. Where like the knees go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so
dislocate
gross.
your knee. Oh, it's
disgusting.
terrible.
Um,
But machine training.
My second is going really closely like in parallel with this.
All right,
and, it's,
let-
and this
give
is
it to
very
me.
specific.
Give it to me, baby.
Bicep curls.
You know what? We
Enough
were just
said.
You know what's funny? We were just talking about this at the high school because
Really?
we've been our month of June at the high school is always like a hypertrophy focused training cycle for all the kids. I don't care what sport they play.
Sure.
All of the kids can benefit from a little more body armor.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And we were doing bicep curls, and the kid asked me like, well, I don't care how big my arms are. Why am I doing bicep curls? And I'm
I'm a
like,
loser. Did you punch him?
there are a lot of
Did you push him to the ground?
I should have
Shut up, nerd.
kicked him out, and then when I kicked him out, went out and kicked his ass. Just
We're doing curls,
beat him
okay?
up. Yeah. But like the bicep attaches to the elbow and the shoulder,
yeah.
and there's a lot of reasons for shoulder and elbow health to have strong biceps.
So the reason that I say bicep curls is because I'm dealing with a little bit of like tennis elbow. We're doing a lot of legless rope climbs. That's a lot of vertical pulling, right?
and it's really high tension. That's
yeah,
like
absolutely. Like
brutal.
grip wise, central nervous system, it's blowing you up. And yeah, I'm just like my left elbow is just killing me every time that we do these. So supplementing with any type of vertical pulling, I'm trying to do as much isometric bicep curls, whether it's hammer curls, traditional like dumbbell curls,
gun walks.
gun walks. Yeah, those are great, and probably in Broly eventually. 21s like with an empty bar. But I'm doing them specifically to increase the blood flow within my elbow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also going to help me repair, whatever tension is being built within that elbow, which is causing the pain from the tennis elbow from all the vertical pulling that we're doing. And honestly, it's genuinely helping. Not only is it increasing the blood flow, but it's also just kind of fun. Like slows things down. In my sport, like everything is explosive and fast and aerobic, and it's like
and compound movement.
Yeah, it's so nice.
That's what Dave Castro needs to get on. We need a 1 rep max bicep curl.
Dude, why haven't we a preacher curl, one arm
preacher curl
bicep?
Can you imagine seeing them go out to the floor and there's just preacher curls set
like
up in the
just
6
smelling
lanes?
salts,
There we go.
freaking C4
Yep.
everywhere.
Except for I feel like someone would jack themselves up pretty bad.
Oh yeah. But it is one of those movements where it feels great. It's fun. At the end of a training session, you throw some curls in, get a good solid little pump, and also increase, some blood flow to that elbow joint, which a lot of the time in CrossFit can get beat up pretty good. So that's my second one, and that kind of goes along with the machines, which is
so almost like overarching, like bodybuilding training in general.
It's huge.
It is definitely something that people scoff at.
Yeah.
When you get into one of the more niche sporting areas.
Oh yeah. I mean, for the longest time within CrossFit, like doing, traditional hypertrophy was kind of like, oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you benching, or why are you doing curls, or why are you doing tricep extensions? But now, obviously, like most of the programming sites or, groups is catching on to the fact that, and they have caught on. I mean, this has been years, but all of the benefits that it provides, different athletes, whether they're a professional athlete or they're, a traditional gym goer.
Yeah. Things move in cycles. We know that.
Yeah, we know that.
But we've always been in hypertrophy training. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, you know what we should put? We should put a throwback of the stringer day that we made. You knew I was going to say that.
We've done it before.
Have we?
I've posted it before. But man, such a good day. We were just like, we made our own bro style, like stringer tank tops.
Yeah.
And then
just
we took
enough to cover
pump
the old
accelerator.
nip.
You remember? We scooped 2 scoops of pump
what's
accelerator.
it's called?
I do not remember what it was called.
Yeah, I know, but like there's a name for that type of supplement.
Yeah.
Like it's like a pump supplement.
Yeah.
It's literally like what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a nitric oxide or something. I don't know.
We know stuff, but we don't know anything.
I know,
It's
like
weird.
especially
Like,
as soon as we start recording,
we
we're
know
like,
of stuff.
dude, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pump supplement.
And then we did so many biceps. I think the whole workout was biceps and triceps.
Yeah,
that's all
I felt
we
like
did.
I could eat a 45-pound plate at the end of that. I believe part of the picture
I thought
actually
you
was
almost
us
said
like,
I could eat a fart.
no, thank you.
Oh man, it was a great day.
It was a great day. We'll put that back.
But
up.
we've always done that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it
But
was
we've done
like
it because we
Saturdays or
enjoy it.
Sundays. It was just fun.
We
Yeah.
always enjoyed it.
But if you don't enjoy it, you still need to do some of it for blood flow, joint health.
yeah,
And
I
because
see-
your arms are too damn small.
yeah. What's that strength coach in the
Fill the sleeves.
Fill the
yeah.
sleeves.
Aaron
Yeah, yeah.
Feld, the coach. Yeah, Coach Feld at Oregon. He is an absolute mutant.
Really, I love that word, mutant.
That's what like a lot of college.
Alien.
There's so many people in like the college sport world that are they're just freaky. Like
Yeah.
he can bench press 425 for like 5 reps.
I can't even imagine being
He'll
able to
just
do
like
that.
not even warm up, just like jump in to like piss a kid off that he's coaching.
Yeah.
And just like rep out things. And
That's
there's like
awesome.
the guy that just got drafted from Iowa, Tristan Wirfels or whatever his name was, did a 435 or 405 for a 5 rep max hang clean, hang power clean.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's a massive human, but it's still like these people will
Yeah.
never end up in a strength sport. And
But they're just absolute
Just,
monsters.
like,
Well, did you see the guy that just broke the world record for shot put?
oh yeah.
Did you see that? He broke it. He broke the record by 8 inches.
Yeah.
Which like is a mile within that sport.
Oh yeah.
He is a freaky human.
Yeah.
Like the amount of power that human can produce and then put into a shot. Like, dude, I watched the video.
That's
with
a
Joe.
mutant, man.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy. Anyways,
Next
as we
level.
wrap up, let's ask 2 questions apiece from the hip.
Okay.
Random questions of the day
Oh.
to each other. I'm gonna ask you first. Favorite
Okay.
late night snack?
Lately it's been popcorn.
Mm.
Been big
A lot of
on
people
pop-
at 8th, they
big-
said that.
Big on popcorn,
Popcorn.
lately.
What's your like? What type of popcorn? Do you just like
I
regular
don't owe
butter
any
salt?
allegiance to anything right
No.
now. Zaddy,
don't own
Zaddy's
allegiance.
trying to get skinny. If you don't listen to
Zaddy.
the podcast like a month ago, I was pretty embarrassed about feeling a little
thick.
chunky
Little
at Ryan's birthday party. So I'm down with
No,
good
it's
amount of
Power Belly,
weight,
baby.
dialed in, feeling good.
So popcorn is your late night
yeah,
snack?
popcorn's been the late night snack, but like, you know, when I'm not cutting, I would say, man, ice cream is
Yeah.
always. It's like dangerous. If ice cream enters the house,
Oh.
it doesn't last long.
Yeah. We actually have 2 pints upstairs that we just like pick at night of Love's ice cream. It's a Grand Rapids company. They make like
Yeah,
small
they're
batch.
down at the downtown market, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
dude,
We
it's
just
so
had,
good.
oh no, we didn't end up having it. We ended up going to the Tippy Cow.
Ooh,
because
also very good.
Any Grand Rapids people, if you have ever been at the Tippy Cow in Grand Rapids, I learned because kids that I coach at Granville work there.
Oh,
They hand make everything that goes into their flurries.
really?
So I had their fresh cookie dough flurry. I'm not joking. You talking about mouthgasm? Okay, they just take cookie dough out of a bowl. Like you
And
would
just
take
put it into the ice cream.
literally slap it in there.
Sounds incredible.
It's so buttery and insane.
Bussin'.
Bussin', dude. I'm not
We're too old
joking.
for that.
Oh,
Yeah, we're too old
That's
for
like what'd you do a couple weeks ago? Sheesh.
Yeah, we're also too old for that too. All right, what? Don't pour anymore. We're about to go hang out with the Brandon Hobbs.
Our first interview guest.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, you're still gonna pour against your own will. Give me a question. I want a question.
What's the best thing you've eaten lately?
We had a friend's 30th birthday last weekend. Mm-hmm. This is the first thing that came up to my mind. Have you ever had like sheet like sandwiches? So let me explain.
Yeah, I know you're talking about like where
Like
you get,
Hawaiian buns.
Yes.
Right? Where you do like the Hawaiian bun package and you slice it all in one slice in half and then you load it and you bake it.
Yes.
We did that. It was a Hawaiian themed
so
party. We did it with ham, cheese, and then pineapple rings.
Yep.
And then like some seasoning and butter on top and then baked it. Dude.
Another good way to do it is with pulled pork, barbecue pulled
Oh, I
pork.
bet. Yeah.
Ugh.
Or like buffalo chicken. Like, dude, you could do so many. That was probably the best thing that I've eaten. Although I did have a friend took me out as a celebratory dinner last week for qualifying for the games. Humble brag. That was
Jesus
we
Christ.
went to Bodie's in Saugatuck, which is a steakhouse in a really nice steakhouse in Saugatuck, and I had I think it was a 20-ounce ribeye. Dude, it was
my
like
gosh.
it was incredible.
Ribeye is where it's at.
It was
You know
so
what?
good.
Kit got pregnant.
Yeah.
And then all sorts of shit went crazy. And
Yeah.
we have all these Ruth Chris gift cards.
Yeah.
We
Dude,
have
we gotta
got
go.
to
I
do
have a
our
Ruth Chris gift card. I have one right now.
Got to do our Ruth Chris
Dude,
trip.
we're doing it. It's a
in the
tradition.
fall, but the ribeye at Ruth
Oh,
Chris.
dude, it's so good.
Like one day I'm gonna be on death row. We know it, okay? and for my last meal,
know
for my last meal, it's gonna be a ribeye from Ruth Chris and some au gratin potatoes.
I was gonna say, what potatoes would you get? You'd get those.
I really like
I'd
those.
get the
They're-
sweet potato casserole from Ruth Chris. That's a dessert, though.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Toss up
okay.
either one.
Your last question is, what's the best movie that you've watched recently?
movies have we been watching recently? We haven't watched a lot of movies. We've been watching a lot of TV.
What have you watched on TV?
We've been watching Loki, which
Oh
is
yeah,
the new Marvel
you told
show.
me about that
that's
today a
good.
little bit.
And I'm a big dork, so
Yeah,
I've been
you
watching
like all
a
the
new
comic
anime
shows.
called Samurai Champloo, which was actually the reason why Logic, the rapper, got into rapping.
Really?
And it's actually
I haven't gotten into Logic. Have you?
Yeah, I
Like, he's
Logic.
pretty good.
Yeah, but he's a
Everybody
dork.
tends to like him.
Yeah, he's very clever.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Logic.
Yeah.
But so the guy who did the soundtrack for the show, Samurai Champloo, is credited for creating lo-fi hip hop.
Interesting.
So like people that like the lo-fi studying music.
What's lo-fi?
Lo-fi is like the jazz mixed with hip hop, like chill hip hop
that's kinda dope.
music.
Sweet.
So that's what like the soundtrack. It's weird. It's like a samurai show, but then there's like these like DJ
Weird, like,
like disc
undertones.
scratching and stuff during the action scenes. It's a weird show.
Yeah.
So that's one of the cool things I've gotten into lately. We watched a good amount of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Kid watches a lot of stuff. I don't recommend Grey's Anatomy. I hate Grey's
You
Anatomy.
do, dude. I don't even want to get on that subject. I know you dislike it. We can move on from that question. You hate Grey's Anatomy.
I'm trying to remember. We just watched a movie and I can't think of what the movie was.
The only
That's a
reason
tough
I
one.
ask is because we watched Bohemian Rhapsody the other
Oh
night.
yeah, that's a great movie. We
Oh
watched
my
it a few
gosh, dude!
times.
If you haven't watched that, and you're listening, that is honestly that was a stellar movie. And I love Queen, and I grew up listening
Yeah,
to Freddie
and I
Mercury.
like-
But
Here is something that is not a movie, but I've been listening to a podcast called Blackout. It's an actual like production,
like
radio
story podcast,
show,
yeah,
and the main character is played by Rami Malek.
that's pretty cool.
So
Also, a very good story that goes along with him, but we can talk about that on another podcast.
I think we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast.
Have we?
Yeah,
The night
the
before the
Mr.
wedding?
Robot.
Oh god, so
story.
good. Anyways, all right, one more question for me, and then we'll wrap up.
If you could be the main character in any movie or show, what would it be? Or a character just thrown
If
into.
I could be a character in any movie or show,
Mhm.
two pop into my head right off the bat.
Peaky Blinders.
No, very good though.
Okay.
Freaking yeah! And for some reason, Saving Private Ryan came into my head. But we were just talking about war movies with some friends the other day.
Yeah, getting thrown in World War II sounds horrible.
Yeah, I don't want to be that. No, thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you to everybody that served.
I don't
That's
wanna
why
do
I
it.
don't want to
Not
serve.
for me. Nick from New Girl
Okay.
is one of my favorite characters in any type of movie or show.
Gotcha. But that's just like regular life.
yeah, yeah.
You'd just be getting thrown into like a
Yeah,
hilarious
I know.
life.
Mark Wahlberg in the movie Shooter.
Ooh, okay.
Total badass.
Yeah.
Big dog lover. Lives in the middle of the woods, like with a bunch of land. Although his dog gets killed, he's kind of a badass. So I think I don't know why. Like that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay.
But that's one of my favorite movies also. But anyways, if you made it this
Pretty
far,
rad movie.
thank you for letting us rant into your ear holes.
Well, we gave him some good stuff.
We did. I
We
agree.
also are idiots half the time.
Yeah.
And
That's why people like us. 10,000 listens, dude. What a
Can't argue
wild,
with it.
what a wild number.
And we're not going to make it to 10,100 after these comments.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, thank you for
Yes.
listening, for supporting, for commenting and posting and reposting. It's been a pretty wild ride. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff that we're still going to talk about. So hopefully you
And
stick around.
I feel like it gets better every week.
Hell yeah.
We got the
I
video
actually was
content.
just thinking about that too. It's funny because we have a bunch of new members that are joining the gym, and one of them, she came up to me the other day. She goes, "Hey, I didn't know you had a podcast," and I was like, "Oh yeah, like, we've been doing it for a little over a year now." And she's like, "I saw something, and it was like one of the earlier ones." And I was like, "Yeah, but listen to this one," and it was like at the end of like last year.
Yes.
Because I mean we've come a long way. I think the first couple months we were getting the hang of it, and
It's like anything else. You
It
do
is
not
what
want
it
to
is.
see what my first snatch and clean and jerk looked
no.
like.
But yeah, I mean we got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and that's what kicked us off, and that's where we're at today. So
Literally, we just talked about that we're learning because in the last episode, I forgot to like have some sort of switch out the battery on the camera
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
And now we have a
camera died.
permanent power source
Hello.
for the camera.
yeah,
And so we'll learn every time, like we always do.
Yeah.
So
It's been fun. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it very, very much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
yeah, keep your body, minds, and drinks strong.
Bourbon and Balance boys out.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
As always, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it as well. This week's episode was sponsored by Coal Whip Speed Ropes, the fastest and most efficient ropes on the market. Use promo code BOURBON to get 10% off your order today.